TPO Network World Conference here in Marrakech. Mesdames, Messieurs, bonjour et bienvenue à cette conférence à Marrakech TPO Network. We're going to start, and before having our opening ceremony, have a short movie about Morocco, which is hosting this conference. Very welcome to all of you.
Morocco is engaged in an era of reforms through international market openness to the benefit of sustainable socio-economic development thanks to the political and social stability of our kingdom. Sustainability is achieved in terms of human development, notably through the National Initiative for Human Development, an initiative that strives to improve the living conditions of millions of women and men. Thanks to deep and ambitious reforms, sustainability is also pursued through stronger institutions. This notion of sustainability also extends to the economic field. Sectoral policies reflect the Moroccan vision of a green and socially responsible economy based on production modes that preserve natural resources, creating more jobs and value with the available assets. Renewable energies are the target of a range of diverse projects involving various social and economic programs. These sustainable options will help achieve a level of 42% of renewable energy in the energy mix of Morocco by 2020 and 52% in 2030. In February 2016, Morocco unveiled the Noor 1 project, the first element of what will become the largest thermodynamic solar plant in the world. The political stability and the strategy of openness pursued by Morocco are strengthened by its geographical location at the crossroads of trade exchanges. Its advantageous location and its two coastlines give it the status of a key global logistic location and position our country as a popular export platform. Thanks to this policy of openness, the Moroccan economy is experiencing a profound transformation in its structure and a wide diversification in its production sectors: automobile, aeronautics, construction, metallurgy, electrical, electronics, renewable energy, plastics, chemicals and parachemicals, textiles, leather, audiovisual, training, telecoms and offshoring. New global Moroccan trades that confirm their dynamism in a context of improved foreign demand. The positive developments measured by growth have promoted confidence amongst investors, bolstered by the political, economic, social, legislative and regulatory stability of Morocco. Large groups such as Renault-Nissan, PSA, Bombardier or Boeing that has announced the creation of an industrial ecosystem of 120 subcontractors have located themselves and made the largest scale investments in Morocco. To become more attractive, in April 2014, Morocco launched the 2014 to 2020 Industrial Acceleration Plan to encourage the growth of efficient and high local added value industrial ecosystems. The Moroccan model has also been enhanced over its decades of openness to the world by agreements and partnerships. Since the 70s, Morocco has developed a wide network of free trade agreements with 55 countries and preferential agreements with 23 countries, now constituting a market of over 1.5 billion consumers. Consolidating this openness towards the internationalization of its economy, Morocco has become the #1 investor in Africa and was able to achieve win-win partnerships. The Kingdom of Morocco has therefore strengthened its position as a major economic player in the co-development of the continent, thanks to the presence of large financial, industrial, and service groups across Africa. The ability of the Moroccan economy to ensure a sustainable growth is linked to its position in the global value chain. In this context, its political stability, ancestral know-how, openness, active role in regional and multilateral partnerships has helped its bold and innovative female and male entrepreneurs position their competitive and international standard compliant products and services in niche markets where future global demand is promising. The transformation of the economy allows Morocco to rest on a solid exportable base, its sectoral diversity. From this diverse exportable base, the whole regeneration of its sustainable growth will begin.
Okay, good morning everybody. Welcome to Marrakesh, welcome to Morocco, welcome to Africa. For those that are visiting for the first time or maybe visiting again our continent, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tamir Orfi. I'm very glad to be the master of ceremony of this wonderful opening session for this conference. Moving forward is something which is important for businesses worldwide. Having all this community here trying to design the future and to try to understand what to do and how to face uncertainty to support in a better way businesses every day. I love this movie because in this movie we discover Morocco, but we discover something which is very simple, that behind business and industries, there are humans. And I love these faces on this movie, seeing all that Moroccans working as everywhere in the world trying to have a better way of life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very glad to be here, and let me just say why. Because we are for about 300 people in this room, coming from different parts of the world, 70 countries. Are there people here from Asia in the audience? Raise your hands, I can see. Asians? Are there someone from Asia? Oh, wonderful. Great. From the Americas, North America, Latin America, Central? Great. South America also? Wonderful. What about Europe? Do people come from Geneva? Okay, what about Europe? People coming from Europe? Wonderful. What about my brothers and sisters from Africa? Are you here? I love that. I really love it. We're going to have a wonderful program for these 2 days, and let me just share with you that in your program you have a lot of work to do because you need to network, you need to share practices, but at the same time, don't forget that tonight you're gonna have a wonderful gala dinner in the Beldi Country Club, which is a nice place in Marrakesh. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to host the first speakers for this opening ceremony. the Minister Delegate to the Minister of Industry, Trade, Investment and Digital Economy in charge of small business and integration of the informal sector of Kingdom of Morocco, Mr. Mamoun Bouhdoud. The Executive Director of ITC, from here, Mr. Minister, please. The Executive Director of ITC, Mrs. Arancha Gonzalez, and thank you, Mrs. Gonzalez, for being here. And the CEO of Maroc Export, thanking her and all the team for hosting our conference, Mrs. Zara Mafiri, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I would want to be very thankful to the translators that are going to do a wonderful job. If you need translating headsets, just ask for that because we're going to speak English during these 2 days. Mr. Bouhdoud, you're going to be the first speaker. And yes, you can have some water before going to speech, please. We are just between us in kind of meeting, 300 people coming from worldwide 70 countries. And it's wonderful to have you, all of you here in Marrakesh. And please, if you didn't have the opportunity to visit the city, take some time, go and meet people. Here people are wonderful, and discover the history, the heritage, and discover how exciting is life here in Marrakesh. And when you go back, say you discovered the Moroccans and the wonderful city of Marrakesh. Mr. Bouhdoud, the mic is yours, please.
Thank you very much. You filled fantastically the blank to let me drink my glass of water. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, directors, executive directors, ambassadors, I would like to start by giving you a warm welcome here in Morocco. It's an honor for us to host you. We are very happy to have you here, especially in the momentum that we lived here after the COP22 last week. I would like to thank also Maroc Export that is doing a great job by hosting this and by doing a strong involvement in this organization. So this 11th World Conference of Trade Promotion Organization Network, held under the theme of the future of trade and investment promotion, brings together about 300 organizations, which is fantastic. And these organizations are representing different countries in the world, different people, different continents. You are here, first of all, to discuss the challenges that we are facing, that we faced, and that we will face in the future. I would like to tell you that as a member of the government and as a country, Morocco is perfectly in line with the principle of this organization. We are promoting the free trade agreements. We are promoting the free trades between countries, the new global economy, with a fair and a balanced and inclusive economy with the protection of the environment, which is very important for us. So this conference is taking place for the second time in Africa. It's an honor for us as an African country also. But I would like to tell you that it's very important for us because this kind of conference, you are especially discussing what will be happening in the next year and how can you put a new dynamic between you in the global chain. So Africa for us is very important, and if today everyone agrees that it's the biggest next area of growth, the numbers are here to confirm it. If you take the 10 fastest growing economy in the world, 6 are African. 7 will be African in 2020. On the demographic side, by 2050, half of the growing population will be African. That's very important for us. One country in the world and the history have done this kind of performance. It was China, and it was China a couple of years ago. China was a country of 1 billion. They lived a fantastic growth. Now they are moving to a more internal consumption model, but they lived a fantastic growth. So we believe that we are living today, what we are living today in Africa is exactly what we saw in China in the 90s. We are 1 billion inhabitants. It's exactly like China. But there is one main difference, is China is one country. Africa is more than 50 countries. And that's a strong challenge, and I think that's a key point that you will have to discuss, because you are representing these different countries and you are asking to ourselves how can we mutualize the risk, and we can think together to put in place a new synergy between the different countries. The second point is that this conference should be also an opportunity to discuss the best practice, but it has also to anticipate what will be happening and what will be the challenges that we are facing. I would like to name some of them. The first one is a technological challenge. As you all know, there is a strong technological advancement in terms of industry, but also in terms of link between countries. We are also now talking about disruptive economy and all this involvement in terms also of currencies also. The second challenge is the digital transformation. So all this disruptive economy. The third one, I talked about it, is a demographical challenge, especially for us as an African country. The fourth one is the climate change. The fifth one is the emergence of new economies. We are shifting. It's not what we saw in the last 10 years that will happen in the next 10 years in terms of weight of different countries in the global change. And the last one is very important. It's about also politics and the momentum that we are living in the world in terms of closing or opening boundaries. So these trends required from us as a public and private institution a lot of anticipation to develop innovation in terms of promotion. We need to help companies to anticipate that. It's not easy for them, especially for the SMEs. So this new world is taking place, that is taking a new shape today, must be viewed, I think, not something that you will have to ask yourself, are you optimistic or pessimistic about it? But just how can you anticipate it, how can you make it a new opportunity, and how can you make it a new challenge for us? For example, I would like to name the example of the disruptive economy. A lot of people are thinking that it's something you can face or you can stop. You cannot stop it. It's there, it will be there for the next years. So the question, for example, what will be the impact for the SMEs, for example? I think it's a fantastic opportunity, especially for the efficiency of the B2C business. An SME, a small company in the middle of nowhere, can target any client anywhere in the world with this disruptive economy. And it's a fantastic challenge. So this digital transformation enables the digital age consumers to interact with businesses through a wide range of emerging technology. There is the social networks that we were talking about it. There is videos, the cloud, the smartphones, and the mobile internet access, which is a great opportunity for us as a continent, as an African continent, to leapfrog in different areas. For example, in banking, we talked about Kenya and what they are doing in the mobile banking. It's fantastic. I mean, it's one of the first countries in the world to be involved in the mobile banking because it's efficient for them, because they don't need to create branches all around the country. Everyone has a mobile. It's more than 100% penetration. You have to use this opportunity. So the challenge concerning the demographic changes, I think it's slightly too high. The demographic challenge, I see it more as a challenge that will involve, of course, infrastructures and business processes, but it's also a challenge of resources and climate change also, and protecting the environment, especially with using new energies. So all these challenges that we are seeing today will transform the activity of companies and their needs in terms of positioning in the world markets which will require that our TPO's initiative from now on, which will require from it a strong adaptation plan in the world economy. And I would like today to confine myself to three main factors. I think if we can discuss and use this opportunity to exchange about it, it will be a strong step that we'll be doing forward. The first one is, as you all know, we've been hosting last week the COP22 in Morocco. Thank you. In Marrakesh, actually, here. And a lot of countries, they confirmed their attention to do action for the government. I think it's a strong question that need to be asked for TPOs because they need to take critical action for this. And as a country, Morocco, as all of you knows, are deeply involved in the climate change. The involvement is by using renewable energy. Of course, we are targeting 42% of our consumption being made from renewable energy, but it's more than that. When we had different discussion with different people that were here in the COP22, we found out that you have two different ways to put this question on the table. You can use regulatory ways to put private operator using renewable, protecting the climate, but there is a more strong and structural way to do it. Is because private companies, what they have to do is to improve their competitivity, to win market shares, to increase their results, and that's what they are doing. They have to make more money, and the manager is here for that. And if he's not doing that, he will be fired. So the challenge that we are facing is how can we not put this industrialization and this competitivity against environment. And I think we've solved this problem as a country. We solved this problem because I would like to share with you a concrete example. We are talking about commerce, about investment. Probably a lot of you knows that the first sector in terms of exports in Morocco is the automotive sector. We are exporting more than 5 billion last year, $5 billion US last year, 6 billion this year. We are in a trend of 20% growth each year. It's a fantastic what is going on here. But we are doing this because we are a competitive country. We are having, for example, the factory of Renault, Nissan in the north, in Tangier. They are producing more than 340,000 cars a year, which is a fantastic achievement. But according to their CEO, Carlos Ghosn, which is the CEO of Renault, the CEO of Nissan, and the CEO of Mitsubishi, this factory is one of the most competitive factories in the world. It was the most competitive, number one last year, probably number two this year, but it is the number one in 2015 in terms of competitivity as a factory. It's a fantastic achievement for us. We are a competitive position for the automotive sector. But what you may not know is that it's also a zero carbon factory. And that's fantastic, which means that using renewable energy, using all climate protection to increase your competitivity, that's a fantastic achievement. And that's what we need to promote, and I think it's very important as an organization. The second fact is e-commerce and the digitalization of our industry that requires to implement programs, especially for SMEs. We believe that promoting commerce and promoting investment will not be in the next 10 to 15 years by the same way as the last 10 to 15 years. You cannot do only physical exhibition from now on. You will have to use virtual forums, you will have to use virtual ways, and I think instead of waiting to develop new exhibition, etc., we need to move and to leapfrog directly to this kind of forum. That's a strong challenge that I think needs to be discussed, because we are all together. It's a challenge that we are all facing. And the third idea is about creating a dynamic between us. We need to create a more strong dynamic between all the different TPOs all around the world. We started to do that with all the African TPOs. We are very happy with what we've done, but we need to share more data between us. We need to share more knowledge of markets. We need to share more information. And as a country, I suggest that we can hold a meeting of African TPOs very shortly to discuss this implementation, and then a more worldwide meeting. To conclude, okay, I'm running time. To conclude, as a conclusion, I would like to tell you that please do not, and as my friend Sithami Rolfi says it as an introduction, please don't forget that you are not only promoting trade and investment between countries. You are promoting more than that. You are promoting, especially now that we are talking about closing some boundaries, etc. You are promoting bridges between civilization, links between countries, and links between people. Thank you, everyone, for your attention, and have a great discussion.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. You are right, sir. We have already a lot of frontiers worldwide, so if we have some linkages and if we have some bridges, it's better to be connected to the other humans. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome for her speech in this opening ceremony, Mrs. Arantxa Gonzalez, who is the Executive Director of ITC. Thank you for being here, Mrs. Gonzalez.
Salam alaikum, I should say, in the language of Morocco. Bienvenue à cette édition de la conférence 2016 des organisations de promotion du commerce et de l'investissement. Let me start by thanking King Mohammed VI of Morocco for his gracious patronage of this event. It's an honor for us to be here to host this conference. And let me also thank Maroc Export. This is an amazing organization, a top performer, an organization that produces results, an organization that is among the top of its kind, and I'm saying this since we do benchmark. We have benchmarked Morocco Export, so we know, and because we know, I think we want to give them a big applause for what they have done for us here. Morocco is in Africa, and Africa has amazing riches. I see this through my travels, from IT in Kenya to solar energy in Morocco, to the first chemical-free leather tanning in Ethiopia, or to amazing technologies in textiles in Burkina and Mali. All of this is Africa, but it's also beyond Africa. We are going to be hearing from a little country in the Caribbean, St. Lucia, the island in St. Lucia, who's doing amazing branding of culinary tastes as a form of investment policy for the island. We are going to be here about how Brazil is harnessing knowledge to an academia to promote trade. We are going to hear how Switzerland is embracing this digital transformation that we just heard about. We are going to learn how Malaysia is connecting millions of SMEs to international value chains. Because this is why we are here. We think that we can learn from each other's experience, and we are ready to share our own experience and put it to the benefit of all our colleagues. Trade promotion organizations, investment promotion organizations are the key partners to the International Trade Center. For more than 50 years now, we've been working together to help small and medium enterprises embrace international trade. I often say that I see you, trade and investment promotion agencies, as electrical adapters. You allow SMEs to connect and to function with confidence in whichever location these SMEs want to expand. We know, you know, that performance is important. And this is why one area where we've put a lot of emphasis is in helping you understand how performant you are, how much impact you create. And when we look at the figures, it is incredible. For every dollar spent in your organizations in promoting trade and investment, you have generated $84 in new exports and more than $380 in gross domestic product, in increasing the domestic pie. And we know this because we've run the numbers. We've run them with a very brainy economist in the University of Geneva so that we are a bit more credible, so that they don't think that it's the International Trade Center just saying it. And we've done this running the numbers for European trade promotion organizations at their request. But we have also run the numbers for 77 other trade and investment promotion organizations. The figures are there. And these are the figures that we have to get stronger at showing to demonstrate why it matters investing in you, trade and investment promotion organizations. We're living in a very fast changing world. We've just heard it from the minister himself. I want to touch briefly upon some of the megatrends that surround us. The first one is standards and regulations. We have devoted this year's annual ITC SME outlook to the issue of standards and regulations. They are growing. They are growing in the north, they are growing in the south, in the east and the west, because they are being demanded by consumers who want more sustainability, who want more consumer protection, who want more social standards. They are here to stay. But we also know that for every 10% increase in regulatory burden, this has a double impact on small companies compared to big ones. So we have to help SMEs meet the standard for trade. Second is the digital revolution, this amazing tool that disrupts and creates lots of pain, let's face it, but also this amazing tool that helps connect the unconnected. Digital is everywhere, but digital, for the sake of this discussion, has a big e-commerce dimension. And this e-commerce dimension is a lot about hard infrastructure, but also about soft infrastructure. The part that is not in billions, the part that is in $1,000, but the part that really matters to help connect the unconnected. And we know this here in Morocco. We've been supporting small enterprises become micro multinationals by exporting their products from argan oil to artisanal products to foreign markets in Europe and beyond. Lots of issues need to be fixed for this to happen. From digital payments, logistics, distribution, taxation, VAT, and the list goes on. It's important that we gather knowledge, information, data on what prevents SMEs from participating in e-commerce, because the World Trade Organization is interested in looking at how trade rules in the 21st century can help SMEs connect to e-commerce. So let's make sure that we pool all this mass of information that you have at home to help the trade regulators help us in e-commerce. 3, it's about gender. It's about making sure that we end the existing discrimination that women face to be part of the economy. We want to do it not because we are all very sensitive towards human rights, and that is a very big human right, but also because if we were to end the current discrimination that women face to be part of international trade, it would be like adding a new China and a new US to the world economy. It's because we need to grow. It's because our economy needs to be stronger that we want to embed more women in trade. This is why we will devote part of our discussions to what we call she trades. Final point, the regional dimension of trade. Regional dimension of trade means that you have to leverage much more your own networks. And this is why we are extremely happy that just 2 days ago, the Arab TPOs, trade promotion organizations, investment promotion organizations in the Arab region, decided to come together and create a regional network. Action is going to be called Arab Countries Trade and Investment Organizations Network. This is the future, networking more among yourselves. These networks exist in Asia, in Latin America, they exist in Europe, they now exist in the Arab region, and I am confident that together we will build them in Africa too. There is an old Central Africa proverb that says, if you dream of moving mountains tomorrow, you must start by lifting small stones today. So let's make sure that in these 2 days together, we exchange experiences of how some of you are moving mountains, how others of you are moving small stones to make sure we help small and medium enterprises be part of international trade, of international investment, and through that contribute to a more inclusive trade. Thank you very much and hope you enjoy these next 2 days.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Arantxa Gonzalez, for this speech. The last speaker for this official opening ceremony will be the CEO of Maroc Export, Mrs. Zahra Mafiri.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. على الله نتوكل وإليه ننيب. Mr. Minister Delegates, Mr. Secretary General of UNCTAD, dear Arantxa, Mr. Ambassador, Morocco's permanent representative to the United Nations, Mr. Secretary General of the Ministry in charge of international trade, dear representatives, nationals and internationals of the ministries in charge of commerce, dear colleagues, directors general and representatives of trade promotion organizations, ladies and gentlemen, representatives of national and international press, dear participants, dear friends, honorable attendees, welcome to Africa. مرحبا بالمملكة المغربية. Welcome to Marrakesh, 11th century's aged city and the venue where the World Trade Organization was born in April 94. It is with deep emotion, and I am taking the floor today, 16 years after the third edition of the World Conference of the Trade Promotion Organizations held here in Marrakesh in 2000. I was then the head of Economic Incentives Section at the Foreign Trade Ministry. And like many junior colleagues at the time, some of them are here in this room, we entertained high ambitions for world trade. Today, we are happy, proud, and honored to receive you anew for the 11th edition under the high patronage of His Majesty, the King Mohammed VI. And we do so with the new generation of export advisors, a new vision of world trade, as well as new challenges for us all to meet. Our predecessors, leaders of the World Trade Promotion Organizations, who met in 2000, had actually anticipated some of the concerns which command our attention today. As a matter of fact, these concerns are on the agenda, even if they are featured or formulated in a different way. By way of examples, I highlight regional approaches, They fostered the creation of trade promotion organization network. Information technologies and electronic commerce. They underscored the importance of establishing a virtual TPO community. They highlighted also the link between trade and investment, advocating the launch of synergies. Here we are. The present mega tendencies underline the link between trade and investment. It is required an immediate adaptation to the technological turn as imposed by increasing digitalization. Here are then the main orientations which have been the subject matter of prior consultations with ITC Advisory Board convened in Geneva last February, and for I was honored to be appointed as co-chair. This advisory board was set up by Arantxa, who grants TPO's member countries this opportunity, and I avail myself of this occasion to extend my great thanks to her. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of trade and investment promotion, our theme, underlines a number of challenges, though these challenges should be dealt within a multilateral framework. However, we have to keep in mind that we may share common issues, but we are not facing them the same manner. Let us take the example of Africa, for instance. All types of vulnerabilities are concentrated in our continent. As His Majesty King Mohammed VI stated a week ago at the Africa Summit organized at the occasion of the COP22 held here in Marrakesh. In addition, the event reveals yet a new orientation, such as the need to adapt to international standards in the area of green economy. The organization of this important conference on African soil affords us the opportunity to share rising awareness of these vulnerabilities and to strive to remedy them. More explicitly, the economic development of our continent, which is also and mainly achieved by the development of international trade, is a matter which ought to mobilize each and all. In this era of globalization, Africa as unique development model is called upon to carry out its regional integration successfully. For example, with the support of ITC, we set up the African Trade Promotion Organization Network in Casablanca in December 2014. The network now consists of 13 countries. Our aim is a balanced partnership with the rest of the world. This partnership ought to take into account our vision, our economic and cultural specificities. The success of this challenge cannot be effective without the collaboration with the other regional TPOs network. You are more than 50 countries from Europe, Arab world, Asia, America, and that's what should contribute to bridge our communities. What positioning do aim trade in African countries to achieve in the worldwide markets? This is the question of hundreds of participants representing 30 countries from Africa. Sharing thoughts with you, notably today, during this session, and scheduled for tomorrow, during the session, will Africa be the next trade and investment destination? I hope that this World Conference would mark the beginning of a genuine African integration within the value chain of global trade. Ladies and gentlemen, this event is an opportunity for us, world TPOs, to meet up, to establish contact, to share our experiences, and to find ways and means of overcoming the difficulties we encounter, so to ensure headway progress in our mission. As leaders of trade promotion organization, together with our teams, we are actors in the definition of new development models of trade promotion. It is part of our responsibility to determine with a measure of accuracy our role as a source of proposals to our respective governments. This is all the more the case bearing in mind the fact that we serve as a bridge between the government and the private sector, and thus a major player in the prosperity of global trade. In closing, I should like to thank ITC team with Aransha at its head for having generously put their trust in the Kingdom of Morocco and bidding it to host a momentous event. Allow me again to welcome you, all of you. Shukran for your attention. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Mafiri, and again, thank you and all your team for the wonderful job you have done with the ITC team to have us here and to prepare and organize all this wonderful conference.